What's up, y'all? So, One Piece chapter 1066 is out, and it is big, big, big. All right, so before we get started, go ahead, drop a like on the video, and make sure you subscribe if you want to support the channel. If you like One Piece content, hit the notification bell, and let's get straight into it.
Hey, listen!
So before we get started, I just want to apologize for the poor audio quality. I am traveling for work and it's hard to get good audio quality in these hotel rooms, but I had to talk about this week's chapter. So getting straight into it, we pick up this chapter with the same conversation in the last chapter, and Shaka is basically explaining to the crew that, yeah, this is the island with technology from the past, and that there was once a man that discovered a robot from the past civilization. Then Robin kind of butts in and she was like, oh, well, is that robot from the Void Century? To where Shaka's like, whoa, what do you know about that? And it's just kind of crazy here. I can't even really believe that we're actually having a Void Century conversation, but Shaka goes on to tell Robin that it's because they had knowledge of the Void Century. That's why her homeland was destroyed. He goes on to explain that the history that they knew was of the war between the Ancient Kingdom and the 20 Kingdoms, and the winner ended up being the 20 Kingdoms. Therefore, they basically erased the Ancient Kingdom from history. Of course, we know those two factions as the Ancient Kingdom versus the world government. So Robin, impressed with Shaka's knowledge, she's like, yo, how do you even know about the history of that kingdom? And he explains that months after OHARA was destroyed, he went there. He was actually friends with Dr. Clover. And he just gives us some Clover backstory here. He was actually an adventurer and captured by the Navy 10 times? Don't get me wrong, I knew Clover had, all the knowledge from the Void Century and around the world, and I knew there were scholars, but I mean, bro, the man really got around. Like, who knew? That's crazy. But his story basically finishes with him gathering scholars to one island and them calling it OHARA. And from here, we actually get a flashback of the Buster Call, of Robin's mom telling her to escape. We actually get a couple of panels here of the scholars rescuing their books from the library. Of course, that's gonna be a main priority for them. And we get a couple of pictures of Saul running away with Robin, and we actually cut back to the present, and Robin is crying now, and she's telling Shaka, basically confirming that OHARA, yes, indeed tried to expose the Ancient Kingdom, and because of that, they were destroyed. So from here, Robin basically asks Vegapunk, do you know what happened to the books that the scholars were basically throwing into the lake? And Vegapunk responds and he says, well, back then I wanted to bring them back to my lab on Punk Hazard, but the world government was not having it. They wouldn't let him do it. So from here, we cut to another flashback of the lake where the books were thrown into, and we see a group of people pulling out the books out of the lake, and we actually, in the very next panel, get a picture of Dragon talking to the actual Vegapunk. And when I say Oda, what are you doing to us, Oda? This man's head is ridiculously huge, and Dragon actually even notes it. He's saying, hey Vegapunk, I can tell this is you by how swollen your head is. Honestly, guys, that tells me that Vegapunk probably, if I was to guess, Vegapunk probably has the learn fruit, or the brain fruit, or something to where his head isn't actually this swollen all the time. Just a guess. Anyways, we get some dialogue from Dragon here, and Vegapunk's asking Dragon, do they even know what the value of these books are? And Dragon's basically asking Vegapunk, wait, what are you doing here? And Vegapunk responds and says, well, no, I was an acquaintance of Clover. And Dragon responds and is like, me too. They both knew him as adventurers. And basically neither of them believe him to actually be evil or anything that the world government has labeled him to be. They know there's some sort of foul play at work here. But Dragon goes on to explain that he actually checked with the giants that are removing those books from the lake. So those are a group of giants, and their captain is a man covered in bandages. And Dragon goes on to explain he won't let OHARA's sacrifice be in vain, and he won't let their lives go to waste. He tells Vegapunk, yo, you guys at the world government, you just don't understand that. And Vegapunk kind of takes offense to that. And Dragon's saying, yo, like, I'm tired of hearing that. Even you became a lapdog for the government. I invited you to become a part of the liberation, and you turned us down. So I guess at this point in the story, Dragon's not a part of the Revolutionary Army, but he's part of something called the Liberation, because in his tag, it did say he was the Liberation Chief Officer or something like that. Very much pre-Revolutionary Army vibes, Dragon. And he still looks like a badass. But we continue. But Vegapunk responds and says, I'm so smart with my intellect. What am I gonna do with your poor army? There's a lot of people that understand me in the world government, and there's a lot of resources there as well. Yo, Vegapunk really just laid it on this man just now. Dragon goes on to explain that he's basically pissed off. They hurt these scholars because of their opinions on the ancient kingdom and wanted to expose the ancient kingdom. And he basically declares to Vegapunk that he's gonna make an army that can stop them. We know this to be the Revolutionary Army. Vegapunk's like, you who hate violence? And he basically has a Luffy moment. He's telling Vegapunk, you just watch. I'm gonna change the world. I'm gonna be king of the pirates. No, but seriously, we cut back to the present day, and Shaka explains that year, Dragon, Ivankov, and Kuma all created the Revolutionary Army. Yo, this is insane. We're actually getting the inception of the Revolutionary Army. So Shaka continues to explain to the Straw Hats that both Dragon and Vegapunk were acquaintances with the giants that took the books of knowledge from the lake. And they actually took the books back to Elbaf, where they actually let Vegapunk read all the books. Of course, Usopp here is like, whoa, yo, they went to Elbaf? Of course, he's floored, because Elbaf is definitely Usopp's thing, but Robin can't even hold herself together here. She's so teary-eyed. She asks Vegapunk, she says, their captain, their name is Saul, right? And he confirms and says yes. Such a touching moment for Robin here. She knows that the man that saved her life, Jaguar D. Saul, actually survived the Buster Call. Damn. From here, we cut back over to Luffy's side of the crew, and they're actually trying to get the robot to move. And Luffy is surprised there's no place to ride the robot, so Chopper is like, oh, so it must be an automatic robot. So they're trying to tell it to move. This goes on for a little bit before the center of the robot explodes, and somebody is actually speaking to them from the center of it. We see there's a dude here phasing through the center of the robot, but he got stuck and he's having trouble phasing through the robot. And it does seem to be the original OG Vegapunk Stella here. Luffy gives him a hand, and Bonnie's like, wait a second, before she can get those words out, Vegapunk responds and says, wow, you're Dragon's son. I knew you would come. And Bonnie, also, you grew up. So yeah, Bonnie's look here basically confirms that this is the Vegapunk that was from the past, and this is the Vegapunk that Bonnie actually knows to have experimented on Kuma. So this is the Vegapunk that Bonnie has beef with. Vegapunk actually starts floating here, and Luffy's like, whoa, dude, you're floating. And he's explaining that, yeah, the shoes that you have on, they can actually make you fly as well. It's Vegapunk, man. It's Vegapunk. The inventions are just insane. And they all end up making their shoes fly and blasting off. Of course, Luffy and Chopper are just flying out of control. They have no idea what to do. And from here, we get another reveal that, yes, this is Dr. Vegapunk, and he is the leader of the SSG. Man, you know what? His head is actually a lot smaller than it was in the flashback. So I think that kind of confirms what I was talking about earlier about him having some sort of learn fruit, because his head isn't swollen all the time. So definitely interested in seeing that going forward. Man, this was a very dialogue heavy chapter. Oh my gosh, we got so much dialogue, but so much information at the same time. I mean, we got information on the Void Century. We got information on what happened in OHARA. We got information on Dragon's relationship with Vegapunk. We got information on Elbaf. If you guys don't know, I've been the guy that said that we are not going to Elbaf and that Oda doesn't actually have time for us going to Elbaf, and I might have to sit there and take this L. I have to say, if we do end up going to Elbaf, I will humbly take the L. But let me know what you guys think. Yo, the amount of information that Oda put in this chapter is just too damn much. Let me know what you guys think below. Make sure you drop a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe. Of course, let's get the channel numbers up so we can build this community. Stay safe, stay healthy. This has been Seafood, that guy talking, and I will catch you guys next time. Peace.